Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Money Minded on Soul Sisters 10X. Today is Friday, October 25th, 2024. Hope all is well. Hope everyone is doing well. Great to be back with you here again tonight. Okay, so last week we had talked a little bit more about buying extra warranties and extended warranties and insurance, and those type of things on products and stuff. And before we got into it, the week prior, I had talked about credit report, and I gave you a website, annualrecreditreport.com, and I had stated that I was going to play around a little bit on the website to see what I could find. So I did just that. Great website. I pulled up my credit score immediately. Didn't cost me a dime, and it was very, very thorough. You can get really detailed into it. It even lets you view closed accounts, things that you've had in the past. So when you go into it, you want to make sure that you're looking at all the details and make sure all the information is accurate. The other thing that I liked about blessings, Jackie. The other thing that I liked about the website was that it gives you all the information. If there was an issue with something, if there was something in your credit report, or if you needed to report something, it gives you the even the mailing address. I know a lot of people don't mail anything anymore. A lot of people emailing and whatnot, but there it gives you all the information for all three credit bureaus that are used, and how to contact them to change, to maneuver or change or fix whatever might be on your credit score. Okay. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit, since we were talking about that, and I was playing on that website, which is great. Again, annualrecreditreport.com, is identity theft. Want to make sure everybody understands that there's a difference between, identity theft. If somebody steals your identity, if there's a breach, also if they just use, scan, they got one card information, or what could happen and what could that lead up to. Okay, so looking on this website again, it gives you a whole good explanation. I actually printed it out. That's what I'll be using tonight. It gives you a lot of information, tells you what it is and what you can do about it. So identity theft is when somebody uses your personal information without your permission. It's as far as going to or open a credit card account, getting a loan, getting an apartment in your name. I remember years ago, I hate to say it, but it's true. I remember years ago, some of my employees would have financial issues with, like, maybe a phone bill, or a national grid bill or something like that, and they would actually put it in. This was years and years ago, before they were doing all this checking and things like they are now, putting it into their children's name and things like that. That's all identity theft, and that actually hurts that person, that child, that individual, whomever, because that's going to go on, carry on throughout their lives. I mean, it's obviously won't be too difficult for them to say, hey, they can show a birth certificate and say, look, I was only 5. Somebody did this without my permission. You can't get credit at the age of 5 years old. But it could be a hassle or something to go through when that individual is now an adult trying to receive credit. So identity theft is very tricky. People can steal your name, your address, your looks, anything. And with technology these days and photoshopping and all of that, it's really, really important that we pay attention to it. And one way of doing that is noticing if you have identity theft is by paying attention to your credit score. Okay, because a lot of people who do identity theft, or they're using it for some reason, they want to get some kind of credit or whatnot. So they're using it without your permission. They also might access your bank. They can access your retirement accounts. They You may not know that this has happened until you look at your credit report, like I stated. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are looking at this and making sure that you are aware of what's going on with your credit report. People have experienced it, like I said, with bills, debt collections, information denials of loan applications. Even sometimes the mail stops coming, because if somebody steals your identity, they can have the mail directed to a different address go to the post office and do an address change or whatnot. If you find that you did not go paperless, because you can do that too. A lot of places want you to go paperless so they don't have to send you out that monthly statement. They don't want to send that out. So if you notice that I'm still a paper girl, I want to see it because, I'm not real diligent about checking my emails or things like that. If it's something that I know I don't have on auto pay, I want that bill to come in the mail. I want to see it. So okay, I remember it is, but that's just me. Everybody's different. Okay. But if you notice that this stuff stops coming, that should be a red flag to you that it could be some form of identity theft. Somebody somehow, some way could have gotten a hold of of your information. So if your bills stop coming, check your credit card statements and make sure that nothing is charged on it. And that's where the banking comes into play. Make sure that you are affiliated with a good bank. I love the bank that I'm with. It's a credit union, and they're really good. And like I stated in the past, they will learn your behaviors. They know where you shop and where you don't shop. This is why it's important. If I travel, when I travel, I send them a quick thing on the website. I'm going to be I'll be traveling here on this date to this date. Okay. And that way they know anywhere in between here and there, it might be those dates. I might be using my debit card in a different place than I am now. If I'm home and I'm not traveling, like this happened to me a few weeks ago, someone was trying to get something on Microsoft all the way across the country. And of course I had to get a new debit card, things like that. So that's great. One of my friends has been banking with a credit union. This one's a different one, but hers is a little different. She has gotten her card or whatnot used more, like maybe 3 or 4 times, but her bank makes her put in a fraudulent, I'm jumping the gun a little bit, making her do a fraudulent account. And they say, okay, you got to go and fill out all this paperwork and you got to fight to try to get your money back. I have encouraged her. I know she's been banking with them for years, but now she's starting to really get frustrated because when you're banking with them for years, and I'm telling you that's not me, and you're still making me do all of this stuff, and you know what's going in, you know what's going out, my habits. Why do I still have to go around that route? So anyway, check the institution out. Got a little carried away. Check the institution out and make sure that the banking institution that you bank with is working for you, not you working for them. Okay. Because when it becomes that you got to do more work than them protecting you, I would think twice about changing. But anyway, so back to identity theft. Okay. Calls or letters, like I said, purchases don't start coming, changes on your financial statement that you don't recognize. If your statement comes in and there's charges or things that you don't recognize, then you want to question this as a possibility of identity theft. Okay. So I've explained what it is. Now, how can we protect ourselves from identity theft? A lot of us, including myself, is very, when the mail comes or whatnot and it's a bill or whatever, we just throw it in the trash. You would be surprised how many people actually go through the trash to steal people's identity. Okay. So you got to be really careful with that. I know it's the holiday time and I see it on these shopping networks. They sell those little stamp things or marker things that you can go across your address and your name before you throw it out. I usually rip mine up really good before I throw mine in the trash. That way they won't want to, try to put a puzzle piece together or whatnot. Okay. Even be careful about where you're throwing things out at. Okay. So say you work in an office building and, your mail happens to come or whatever, or you didn't get to it yesterday and you bring it to your workplace with you and you open your mail and, it's junk mail or it's trash. Be careful because you could, it's not to say it's your coworkers, but you don't know who's cleaning that building. You don't know who's emptying the trash. Someone might be tempted to take that out. And that's an easy way for identity theft for you if you're not protecting yourself. Okay. Passwords is another one. Make sure you change your passwords. You don't want to use the same password all the time. I know at work, we got to every 60 days. It's a hassle. It gets, oh my goodness, it gets annoying a little bit, but changing your passwords, don't make it so simple. Don't store your information also in your phone. It's very easy to say, oh, my phone. I'll give you an example. It just happened today. A young lady is getting promoted at one of my restaurants, and we have to do a drug and background check. And she said her social security number. Well, I'm not. Let me look at my phone to make sure that's right. And I'm like, you got your social security number stored in your phone? And she says yes. And I said, honey, don't do that. I said that's a very easy. My phone's locked. And I said, no, 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 don't be so naive, because they're so, people are so technology savvy that they can steal your information right off of your phone. So we got to be careful of not only changing your passwords, storing your information where you have it stored at. So be careful of that. Be careful when you're sharing account numbers, okay? Be careful with text messaging. Oh, your child called you and whatnot, and text messaging. Your credit card. I get a little skeptical with using the Google Pay. I know a lot of people have Apple Pay, and you got your cards and stuff right there stored on your phone. So what happens if you lose your phone or you drop your phone and they're able to unlock it? All right. Then there's identity theft. They have all your information right there. Praise the Lord, Sister Larissa. They have all your information right there, and it's very easy for you to for them to steal that information from you. Again, another way is to obtain your credit report to make sure that there's nothing wonky going on there. All right, monitor all your credit accounts and your bank statement. Okay. How does monitoring your credit help protect from identity theft? Because it's a good way to spot something if something is different. If something it looks out of place, all right. If you never check it, you don't know. Again, I use for an example. Some people, I hate to say it, but it's true. Some people use their children's name and phone numbers and what's not for different accounts, phone bills, electric bills, gas bills, or whatnot. When they were smaller years ago, and now the child is grown and they go to get credit, they can't. Well, it's identity. It was identity theft. Again, a little easy to prove because if they show their birth certificate, hey, it wasn't me and whatnot. But it's still a hassle to go through. So you want to be careful with that. What should you do if you are this part is good. What should you do if you think that you've been a victim of identity theft? Or you should place an initial fraud alert on the file so that you say that you're a victim of it. You have to, and you should notify all 3 U.S. bureaus. Don't just do Equifax. Don't just do TransUnion. Notify all 3 of them. And again, on the annualcreditreport.com, it gives you all of the email addresses to email them if you want to email them on time. They also give you all the addresses for Equifax, for TransUnion, and Expedient. They give you the address if you want to write them a letter. You need to notify them. You need to notify the credit cards, your bank companies, everything that your financial institutions. You definitely want to notify, hey, I think I've had identity thefts. This is where that freeze is going to come into play. Okay, because you don't want it to continue to go on. The worse it gets, the longer it's ignored, the longer it's not caught, the longer it's going to take you to correct it. Okay. Here's other steps you can take. Contact the security of the credit card departments of each business. Follow up writing with copies of supporting documents. Keep copies of all your documents and records of your conversations about the theft. Okay, so maybe you're not when you're trying to notify them and let them know. You want to keep a copy of the documents that you're sending to all 3 bureaus, or if you have a conversation with them or whatnot, because you want to make sure that they realize that it's really you and not the person who stole your identity. That's what the purpose of it for. Also, file a police report with your law enforcement. Again, another good way, very important. People don't do it. I see it on Good Morning America, Today's Show. These scammers that are going on, and they say always tell us to notify the authorities, but a lot of people don't. They think they just do the bureaus and the credit bureaus, but that's it. No, notify the authorities, because if you don't notify the authorities, they won't be able to catch these thieves. And these thieves, these hackers, these people who are stealing your identity are going to keep going. It's illegal to steal somebody's identity, okay? So it's I believe it's a felony. So it's important to notify the authorities. Report it to all the creditors' accounts, like I stated. Report identity theft to the Consumers Federal Protection Bureau. All right, by submitting a complaint. And again, you can find more information about that on that website, annualcreditreport.com. Okay, so that's your identity theft. Fraud. Fraud is different. What is a fraud? Fraud is used to inform creditors that you may be a victim of a fraud. Okay, so when somebody's stealing your identity accounts, this stuff. Fraud is when they use your credit card, your debit card. Again, I believe it happened when I went to a gas station I don't normally go to because I was in a different area, need gas, and didn't get gas before I left. And all of a sudden now my card being used. Sometimes if that paper is ripped or if that tape is ripped or may not be there, we're going so fast, including myself. We're not paying attention to these things. Okay, they always say don't use this if this is not sealed. It's a very easy way for them to commit fraud. Get your bank information. They don't want to be you. Okay. When they're committing fraud, they just want to use what you got. Somebody who wants to be you is taking everything that you got and using all of that. So there's a difference between identity theft and fraud. Okay. As a victim of fraud or identity, you have the right to request the credit report from the company. You have a right to dispute and you have a right to request a fraud alert to be placed on your credit report. Okay, so if you have had fraud or identity theft that you feel that they have no choice, you have that right. That is your information. They can't deny it to you. They have to do it. Okay, they have no choice but to say, hey, okay, what can we do? So we talked about this freeze thing. All right, so now you've been identity theft or fraud. What is a security freeze? A security freeze is a step you take to prevent credit, loans, and services from being opened in your name without your permission. You will need to request a freeze with each of the 3 credit reporting companies. That means you got to do it with TransUnion, you got to do it Equifax, and Expedient. Not just one, you got to do it with all 3, okay? It is important to know that if you place a security freeze on your credit report, businesses will not be able to obtain a copy of your report in connection with any new applications or credit. Meaning that until you unfreeze it, unlock it, nobody can try to get a car in their name. They can't go say they want to buy a home. They can't open a credit card. They can't get a cell phone in your name. They can't get car insurance. So when you have that freeze on your information, it's the good and the best way to prevent identity theft from happening. I love this. So how do I step up to how do I set it up? Okay. The process to place a security freeze requires that you directly contact each of the credit companies. Like I said, you can do it online or through the mail. They're going to want to know your full name, middle initials, your suffixes, if you use any, your social security number, your date of birth, your current address, all addresses where you have lived during the last 2 years. So if you've moved in the last 2 years, you need to know your previous address, okay? They want your email address. They're going to ask for a copy of your government-issued identification card, like a driver's license or a state ID, okay? And then a copy of your mailing address, like a utility bill, a bank statement, insurance statement, something that proves that's your address. Because again, they want to prove that it's you before they freeze it and make sure nobody is trying to act on your behalf, okay? So I think that is great. Again, Equifax is www.equifax.com/credit report assistance. Expedient is www.expedience.com/freeze. And TransUnion is https://freeze.transunion.com. And I will type those in the chat for you. Okay, so if you wanted to put a freeze on your identity, your theft, will this hurt you? Okay, no, it cannot hurt you. It's only gonna protect you. Okay, how do you remove the freeze? When you request the food. So now all of a sudden it's been 6 years and you decided you want to go buy a new car. Okay, you're gonna need to take the freeze off. You're given a personal when you freeze, they give you a personal identification number or a password. To remove the security freeze, contact the credit reporting companies where you place the freeze and provide them with that identification number or that password, and they'll take that freeze off. Okay, so when you put the freeze on, it will take up to 24 hours. When you remove it, same thing, just as fast. It will take them up to 24 hours. By law, they have to be able to do this for you. This is a free service. Why am I saying this? Well, I looked it up because, we're money minded here, okay? And I see a lot of commercials and infomercial in the middle of the night about identity theft and to pay these companies, okay, to protect you. And it ranged, my goodness, I seen them ranging anywhere from $6.99 a month to $32 a month, okay, that they are, quote unquote, protecting your identity when you can do it yourself for free. Two simple ways. You can freeze it so nobody can order your stuff, open accounts and stuff. You're frozen. They won't even be able to find you. Okay. And the other way, if you don't want to freeze, is to check your credit score. And again, I've given you a website, annualcreditreport.com. I just did it before I came on here. Took me less than 5 minutes. My whole credit report came up. All closed accounts from past, present, and future. Very simple, very easy process. And guess what, guys? It did not cost me a dime. Free. We like free. Okay. So when you're being money minded, you want to save money. These are other ways. But I see a lot of the LifeLock. I think that one's pretty popular when I was checking the websites and whatnot. And that's the one that's up to $32.99. And when I was looking at on a month, that was a discount. And that's like maybe for the first year that you sign up. And that's another thing that we are very bad at when it's money minded. Is 7-day trial period, 14-day trial period. Your first 60 days are free, or we're going to give you this price for a year, and we don't pay attention to it. I often use the example of, Sirius XM in my car. I have Sirius XM in my car. And of course, when I got the car, it came for free, right? And then after it's over, boom, right on my card, I think it was like $19.99 a month. And I said, oh my goodness, I called them right up. No. Please cancel that. I don't need that. I'm not even in my car long enough for me spending $20 a month on music. And at the time when it first started coming out, we still had CDs and iPods. We were hooking up and whatnot. And that kind of thing, right? So they said, oh, Miss Hawkins, if you stay on, we have this special going on. And I think it was like, I got it for like $4.99 a month. Okay, I'll pay the $5 a month. I like Sirius XM because, it keeps up on the latest music, the newest music that comes up, even gospel. I like, obviously, Gospel Channel, Kirk Franklin Praise, Channel 64. And they do the newer music and whatnot. So for that price, okay, I'm willing to spend that, but it's up to you, okay, with the streaming services. I have it and put it in my phone. That's another thing, a good way to remember. If these things happen, you have a free trial or whatnot. It's going back to the identity theft. You should put a reminder, like you can do it on your calendar, on your email, if you're good with your email, or you can put a reminder on your calendar on your phone. Hey, on this day, I got to cancel this free trial, or they're going to start charging me. Okay. But it's up to you. But anyway, looking at these security or these identity theft companies, and it could be pretty expensive. Okay. Again, $6.99 doesn't seem like a lot of money, $7 a month, but 7 times 10 is what, 70 plus 2 more, 14. So that's $84. a year, not including tax, and then next year the price might go up, so it's going to cost like $100 or whatnot. So just something else to think about. Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about is data breach. What is a data breach? A data breach is when information has been viewed, stolen, or used by a person without appropriate authorization. Some data breaches can create a serious personal and financial risk for consumers and businesses. I know myself, our company, we have to do cyber training each and every month. The first of the month, there's a cyber training that comes out. We have to watch the video. It's mandatory. Make sure you hover over your emails. Don't open any of this. Don't download that. If it looks like they're phishing you, we have to do it. You have to do, and you should do the same thing with your personal account. You should be very diligent about protecting your identity, especially if you're like me. I shop online and whatnot. I don't like to use my debit card, so I'll use Cash App or I'll use PayPal. Look at these different ones. Venmo, I believe, is another one that you can use or whatnot. And then make sure you use the ones and look at the ones that are going to protect you, the ones that you get reports from, the ones that you can go back and say, hey, I didn't make that purchase or whatnot. And every once in a while, you may want to change that password or card or whatever on those things too, so nobody can get into those accounts. Okay. A data breach can be caused by a number of reasons, including criminal activity, accidents, or computer failures. For example, a data breach can be caused by lost or stolen computer or electronic devices. Again, how many times have we all misplaced our phone? I can't find my phone. Where did I put my phone? And we have a lot of information on your phone. If you have Apple Pay, again, if you have Google Pay, these are easy ways for you to get it. And then if you use, passwords 111222, whatever. I do like the Face ID, where you can put, you got to look in the phone. If it's not you, it recognizes your eyes or whatever it is to unlock your phone. But where there's a will, there's a way. I was actually watching, I think the TV show, to be honest, was watching me the other night, and I don't know, it was like maybe one of them CSI or something. I'm not sure what it was. But it was a person got murdered on the TV show, and the phone was locked, and they asked the sister if she knew the password on the phone, and no, the sister didn't. But hey, your sister kind of looks like you, and they put the phone up to the sister, and the phone unlocks. And I'm like, wow, okay. So that could happen too. We all have a twin or whatnot, or your child may look like you or whatnot. So you just never know. You want to be very, very careful when it comes to that. That could be a security breach. And these hackers are getting really, really good. If you've noticed throughout, months, just throughout this year, how many times did a different business get security breach? And this is the time of year that it could be happening. A lot more sales are going on. People are going to spend money. Okay, no matter if no matter who wins the election or whatnot, it's holiday season. These things are going to happen. More and more transactions are going to be happening. Businesses are going to be more and more busy, and the security might go down a little bit. Okay, so the hackers are looking to be able to ease their way in, and they're looking the way to ease into your phone as well. Okay, where can I find out about identity theft and protecting my identity? Again, check with the Federal Trade Commission website, identity.theft article. I'm sorry, websites. Oh, check your websites for identity theft articles and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's website. I was right, for identity theft questions. Okay, so if you want questions on that, how to guard yourself, it's www.unguardonline.com. There's also computer security articles that you can read as well. So there's a lot of information on there, how to protect yourself. I found, again, all this information on that website, annualcreditreport.com. Know the difference, protect yourself. You don't need to spend a lot of money on these other companies and whatnot and paying a monthly bill for them to protect when you can do it yourselves. People really, really don't know. So I'm all done for tonight. I'm going to, in the chat, type these 3 websites in on the chat for you. That way, if you wanted to go and you wanted to freeze your identity or your account or whatnot, so nobody can open anything, they can't try to run your credit, your social security number, anything like that. Free fit reviews. I will also put annualreport.com in the chat as well, so you'll have that information. All right. I hope all is well. I hope that is great. Thank you for being with me on tonight. I hope this helped, and God bless. Lord willing, we'll be back with you again next Friday.